Upgrading your worn-out stock suspension on your Super Duty is a must after years of abuse that the stock setup takes. ReadyLIFT's 2.5-inch front leveling kit with Bilstein shocks not only levels your truck with extended length front coil springs, it also includes Bilstein's shocks valved for supple street ride and capable off-road performance. In most other cases, a front leveling kit will leave your axles slightly off-center due to the location of your factory track bar. ReadyLIFT remedies this by providing a track bar relocation bracket to maintain proper steering angles. Also included is bump stop extensions and front sway bar frame mount extensions to keep your factory sway bar right where it should be. Get the truck on a lift and begin removing the front wheels. We next supported the front axle with a jack so we could raise and lower at will. Start removing the front shocks first at its upper and lower mounts on each side of the truck. We then moved on to the sway bar connection at the end links. Looking through the wheel well, you will find the brake line brackets attached to the frame and lower spring perch. Remove them to create a little bit of slack. And for more wiggle room, we unclip the brake and ABS lines from their spots on the frame. Now the sway bar frame mounts can be removed and the sway bar can either be taken off the truck or we let ours be supported from the end links for the time being. Using our jack on the axle, we lowered the front suspension enough to pull the front springs out of the truck. We then noticed our axle vent tube was a little tight, so we removed it from the axle as well for the time being. Next up is the track bar, which can be unbolted from its bracket, then swung down out of the way. Moving on, we will disassemble the factory bump stops by pulling out the stop itself, then unbolting the top plate. Back to the track bar and its bracket, remove the 3 bolts that hold the factory bracket to the frame of the truck. These 3 bolts are all connected on the backside for ease of installation. Then the last 2 bolts up through the bottom of the bracket are the last thing needed to remove the entire bracket. Be careful of the wing nuts on the backside of these bolts inside the frame. Replace the factory bracket with the ReadyLIFT track bar bracket to the frame and tighten down the 3 side bolts and the 2 through the bottom. Back on our bench, we will install the bump stop extensions to the plate using the tab as a guide with the new hardware through the center. Install it back to the frame, then replace the bump stop itself to the plate. For the sway bar now, install the drop brackets to the frame and tighten them down with the stock hardware. Then slide in the included bolts through the bottom of the bracket to mount the sway bar. On our bench again, the spring isolators can be removed from the top of the stock spring and added to the new ReadyLIFT springs. Place the new spring into the truck and make sure it is aligned properly on the lower spring perch. Then raise the axle back up so the spring touches the top perch ever so slightly. To prep the new shocks, we installed the bushings and sleeves and used a little grease to ease with the install. Then we placed the shock into the lower mount, compressed the shock, and guided it into the upper mount. Be sure to use the bushing and washer on top of the new shock, then tighten down both the lower and upper mounts. Our axle vent tube can be replaced, as well as our brake line brackets to the lower spring perch in the frame. Swing up the sway bar and attach it to the new drop bracket and hardware, then tighten the sway bar to the frame and the end links. Our track bar bracket is ready to install into the new drop bracket. We use the aid of a ratchet strap to pull the axle over to the driver's side and line up the bolt hole for the track bar and bracket. Once you get the track bar installed to the new bracket, your installation is finished. We love the leveled stance this kit gave our 2011 F350. Now we can safely clear a 35-inch off-road tire with ease, and we upgraded our on- and off-road performance greatly with the addition of the Bilstein shocks up front. For more info on this kit, or to pick one up for your own Super Duty, click the link in the description below. We also post some more sweet content on our social media pages. Give them a follow to stay up to date with everything we have going on around the shop, and with all of our project vehicles.